Hi everyone, welcome back. Today's stretch is going to be for the quads and hip flexors. So this tends to be a really dominant muscle group in most people. If you're sitting at work, that area is kind of shortened all day long. So it's a really important muscle group to give a little bit of extra attention to. So today we're just going to zero in on the front of the thigh. I'm going to be using a roller today. I like to use something with a little bit of give. Okay, so if your roller is really hard or it has knobs in it, you might find it's a bit too intense. So grab a towel and you can lay that across the roller, and that can take some of the sting out of rolling these tender spots. Of course, listen to your body, do what feels right for you, but I find that's a really good trick if your roller is quite hard. So get your roller, get on your mat, have a couple of pillows with you as well just to support you, especially if you have tender knees, because we're going to be doing some work on our knees today. And let's get started. All right, you guys, so we're going to start with some rolling for the quadriceps, and we're going to focus starting on what's called the TFL, the tensor fasciae latae. So if you find the points of your hips, kind of the boniest prominence at the front of your pelvis at the top, and then go straight down towards the crease. So if you're kneeling like me, wherever the crease is, straight down and just behind, you're going to find this nice meaty kind of egg-shaped muscle right here. This guy leads right down into your IT band and into your knees. So this is a really important one to release. If you spend time sitting, just about everybody needs to take care of their TFL. So we're gonna start here with the really good stuff. So I'm gonna come across my roller. Again, none of this should cause any low back strain. If it does, I'll show you some modifications. But it could be that if you're getting low back pain with this, that it might not be the right thing for you. So I want you to really listen to your body. So I'm going to come across the roller, and I'm trying to put the creases of my hips right over the top of the roller. And then I'm going to bring my knee out to the side here. So just mirror me, so this can be your left leg bent and resting on the roller. Again, if you have a short roller, you can put a pillow here or just place your knee on the floor. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is just roll away from you, drawing this hip back, and I'm coming up onto like a 45-degree angle. Now, if you just move up and down a little bit, forward and back, you'll find quite a sensitive spot right in that crease of the hip, just kind of at that front outside corner. Ooh, and that is pretty tender. So I want you just to relax down, get yourself comfortable. If this feels too intense, put some pillows here and get your body blocked up. And I just want you to rest here and just kind of let that tissue soften. Good. And so if this is an area where you're needing the stretch, you're gonna feel something here for sure. It's not subtle. It also shouldn't be so intense that you're kind of squirming and tightening. It's really important that it's relaxing and feels good. So let's just take another deep breath. Try to let all the tension go. Good. All right, now we're gonna bend that bottom leg. So your right leg can bend to about a 45 or about a 90-degree angle, sorry. And then we're gonna move that heel into internal rotation and external rotation. So always kind of feel like a happy dog wagging its tail. And you'll notice as you bring your heel down towards the floor in internal rotation, that muscle that you're leaning on should actually firm up a little bit and then relax as you move your heel forward into external rotation. This TFL muscle is one of the rotators of the thighs. Whew, that's tender. Keep the breath going. Just softening that. Nice. Good. All right, so we're gonna go on to the other side. So you can stay facing the way you are and just roll away from me. I'm gonna turn to face you just so that you can see the other aspect. So I'm gonna come over the roller this way and then bring the knee up onto the roller, and then just kind of move onto the side of my body here. So you can see my hips are at about a 45. I'm lying on the side of my rib cage, just finding that tender spot. So I can really feel it's tightening up and it's kind of resisting this pressure. So I just need to take a few deep breaths here, take them with me, and try to relax that muscle. Good, just letting it soften. Take a moment to make sure you're really comfortable in your upper body, so you don't want to be straining. If you're feeling tension in your neck or in your low back, it's a great idea to get some cushions under your ribs here so you can really relax. Good. Even this side, let this hip really relax and use the roller or a pillow here or a block for support. All right, let's bend this back leg and then we'll wag that tail. Just releasing that tension, letting it melt away. So if you're doing a lot of rolling on your IT bands, I would really encourage you to do this really instead. So that IT band, when you put pressure on it, it can actually irritate it a little bit. So this gets the same job done, releases it from the top, gives it a bit more space to move, but doesn't kind of give you that extreme sensation that can be really kind of stressful for the body. So, but if you really wanted to roll it, doing this first would definitely give you a bit more room. Whew, all right. Okay, let's come off of there. And then we'll just come around this way once more. Okay, and we're gonna get into the quads here. So we're gonna do the the left quad first. So that's the one closest to me. So I'm just gonna come over the center of that roller and bring the other leg forward. So it's important that I've got most of my body weight on my hands and on this front leg. And then I can just start to give body weight to this back leg. And I'm just starting right in the belly of the muscle, kind of halfway between my hip and my thigh and my knee. And then we can bend the heel towards the bum and relax it down. Good. And you'll probably notice as you bring the heel in that tissue hardens up a little bit, gives you a bit more sensation. And then as you relax, really concentrate on softening it. Nice. Now I'm going to roll back slightly. That's it. If you find you're not quite flexible enough to get into this position, what you can do is work just a little bit higher up and further forwards this way and working closer to the knee, okay? Good. So work your way all down that quad, pausing where you feel the sensation build up and using the lower leg to kind of pull that tissue past the roller. Nice. And again, just go for as far back as you can. So you might be feeling a nice stretch through the hip flexor as well. Make sure that you feel really relaxed in your low back. There shouldn't be any tension or discomfort there. Good work. All right, now we're not going to switch legs just yet. I want you to keep the roller facing me, and we're going to turn sideways now and come over the roller this way. So your pelvis needs to be facing the floor and the thighs facing sideways with that inner thigh facing down. Okay, now here again, if this goes into your low back, just put some cushions up under this hip so that it's not so that you're further from the floor. Great, and then we'll just move towards that knee and away. Whew. And try to measure that sensation so it's not too intense. It feels nice, useful, but not painful and sore. All right, now I'm just gonna pause where I feel that sensation really build up a little bit, and then we're just gonna stretch the lower leg, swing that heel towards your bum. So I like to call this press and stretch. So we're sort of creating a tourniquet. We're pressing into that tissue and then articulating the nearest joint. and that's drawing the tissue past this point on the roller, really helping to kind of break loose those trigger points and help everything kind of soften up. Nice. All right, I'm just going to move that roller in closer to the pelvis, and then we'll do the upper part of that thigh. Nice. Check in with your shoulders and neck, make sure you feel relaxed. Good, and you can come right up to the groin. That's it. If you feel any kind of tingling or uncomfortable pressure, just back off a little bit by kind of moving up more into a plank and getting some of the weight off the roller and onto your arms. So this can kind of double as a good little core workout. Nice, let's find that sticky spot and we'll just swing that heel open and closed. Nice. Okay. Good, so come off the roller and we'll come onto the other side. So if you've got, again, a long roller, just use the end, and then we'll bring the other knee forward, starting with all of your weight on your hands and your front knee so that you can gauge how much you want to press into that thigh. So I'm just going to start to let my body weight sink over onto the back leg there. You'll notice I've got my toes tucked, and that's giving me some good information because I know my heel is pointing straight up to the ceiling. I know that leg is in parallel, so I'm getting right down the midline of that quad. Shoulders are away from the ears, collarbones are nice and wide. And then we can just start to explore moving forward and back. I'm just looking for those sticky spots where it feels like it's kind of calling your name, asking to be paid attention to. So let's pause on one of those sticky spots and then just bend the heel towards the bum. Good. Make sure the abdominals have a little bit of tone on them, so you're just picking up your belly button, drawing it towards your spine, keeping that low back nice and long. And we want to be careful of collapsing in the spine, so keeping your chest away from the floor. So you've got nice form all the way through this. Good. And maybe moving up towards the hip flexor a little bit more. Okay, excellent. So we'll just come back off the roller. And then we can step the other knee over the side and bring this hip either to the floor or onto a pillow or a block. Okay, and then you want to position that roller out towards the knee. This thigh needs to be at about 90 degrees, so my knee is opposite my hip going this way, and then I've got my knee at a 90-degree angle as well. Okay, and I'm just going to focus on that like lower portion first. Just moving out towards the knee joint without rolling onto any of the bones in the knee. You want to stay on that soft tissue on the inner thigh and just work your way forward and back. Good. Same thing here, we got to keep those abdominals just gently drawn in so that we're not sinking into the low back. Check in with the shoulders and the neck, make sure everything's nice and relaxed. Good. Oh, and there's a nice sticky spot, so we're just going to stretch that heel away and then bend. Good. Nice. You can watch the tracking of that lower leg, make sure that your calf muscle is coming straight in towards your hamstring. We're keeping it nicely aligned. If you have any kind of knee damage, this might not feel okay for you on your side, so just listen to your body, do what feels good for you. Good. All right, let's bring that in a little bit. Ooh, and catch that upper thigh. Nice work. Especially if it's a bit more intense, concentrate on the breath. Good. Make sure you've got lots of pressure down through your arms to help keep your shoulders wide and your body supported. Yeah. got my toes tucked on my back leg so I can actually use that back foot a little bit to keep the back leg supported. So it's really important whenever we're stretching and or we're rolling, no matter what we're doing, that there's always a sense of supporting the body so we're not just kind of collapsing into stretches. All right, let's open that leg again. Nice work. Stretching that heel away and then softening behind the knee. Nice. All right, so let's come off the roller and we'll move into a couple of stretches to really target those quads. If your knees are sensitive, make sure that you've got a really good cushy mat, or you can put a pillow under your knees. All right, and we're gonna start just in that classic runner's lunge. Okay, with the pelvis really lifted. So if you're mirroring me, you can use your right leg first. So the leg closest to me is down and back. We're gonna draw up through the front of the hips and then start to shift the body forward. I want you to make sure that you carry your torso with you so that you're not leaving it behind and sinking into your low back. So we'll just shift forward and then shift back. Good. I want you to pay attention to this front foot. Feel as if you're stepping onto that foot, almost as if you were going to try to draw yourself forward past it. That feeling of propelling that foot down through the floor and then down and forward. So I'm going to pull that heel down and back, down and forward. So this is quite an active stretch. Good. I want to make sure that back leg is right in parallel. If you're unsure, use that little technique of just tucking the toes and then making sure the heel doesn't rock down. Keep it right up to the ceiling and the knee aligned. Nice. Okay, let's come forward. Arms are nice and relaxed. I'm going to lift up through the waist, just lace the fingers, press the palms towards the ceiling. I'm not just taking the front of my rib cage up, but I'm also taking the back of my rib cage up. So we're getting lots of space through the low back. Good, now squeeze this glute. Good. That's it, and as you squeeze that glute, you should feel the stretch deepen through the front of the hip. Nice, we're gonna open those arms wide, stretch the fingers out, and then I want you to take that left arm behind you, okay? And we're gonna try to kick up and catch that foot. All right. Nice. Now, it's important that my chest is trying to stay facing the side wall. So I'm actually getting a nice little bonus stretch through the shoulder. Good. And if you're finding the balance is a real challenge here, just move so that you're near a wall, or you've got a chair. You could even just grab your roller and have that as a little bit of a help with balance. Okay? Because sometimes dealing with the balance at the same time as the stretch, if you find it challenging, is just kind of too much all at once. So we decide on one thing and just focus on the stretch instead of both the stretch and the balance. So there's lots to build up to. All right, we're gonna hug that heel in towards the bum and then just move back slightly, lifting up through the front of the hip, squeezing that glute. Good, and relax that off. Press down through that front foot to recover. Nice, and while we're here, let's just take a little forward stretch. So flex those toes towards you and just send the crown of your head out past your toes. We're trying for a nice long spine here. Bum bones reaching back, and you want to get this thigh roughly vertical here. Good. If your fingers aren't quite touching the floor, you can just place the hands on the knee. Make sure that the crown of your head is really reaching out and forward so we're not collapsing down. Nice work. All right, coming up, we're gonna come through the center to the other side. All right, so this is a good opportunity. If you felt really wobbly, just scoot over, be close to the wall, grab a chair, grab something to help you with that balance so that you're not fussing and struggling. All right, so we've got the other leg forward. The pelvis is really lifted. Good. It's almost a feeling like like when the legs kind of gather up underneath you, that it's propelling your pelvis up off your legs. So you should feel almost like somebody was scooping you up from underneath your hips and pushing you towards the ceiling. Nice. All right, let's shift forward and then press down and forward with your front foot. Press down and pull back. Good. So I'm really using that front foot to move me through space. And the reason that's so important is that it's keeping all of the musculature kind of awake and supporting me. So I'm not just hanging into the joints and kind of putting a lot of pressure on the joints, but we're actually stretching the tissue. Good. You can tuck those back toes if you like. That actually deepens the stretch just a little bit because your knee is now bent just a smidge more. Lovely. All right, we're going to take those arms up. Good. Now think about making lots of space between the back of your rib cage and the back of your hips. So where your kidneys are, this beautiful muscle called the quadratus lumborum in your low back. We're going to lengthen it all, open it up. Keep your head, neck joint nice and soft. Good. We're going to stretch those fingers open to the side. Now keep your sternum facing the side wall and you're just going to reach those fingers back and then try to kick up and catch that foot. Good work. Okay, and find a comfy hand position. So some people like to go thumb down on the outside. If your shoulders will allow, it's nice to go palm facing me with your thumb up on the inside of that arch. Or you can go right over the top of that foot. Kind of relax the shoulder and let your foot pull your arm away from your body. I'm going to squeeze that right glute. Woo. Good. And send the crown of your head towards the ceiling. That's it. All right, and if you want to go deeper, we can reach around with both hands. Try to draw that foot towards your bum. And then just move your hips up, higher. Good. Lifting through the front of the pelvis. That's it. Nice deep breath. Good. We're going to release that off. Good. And then just press down through the front foot to shift back. Take your time here, especially if you're sensitive in your low back. You're going to make sure as you change from that bit of flexion to this nice open position that you give the tissue time to shift. Okay, really draw your toes back towards your nose. Send your sit bones backward, the crown of your head forward. Good, nice deep breaths. Good, maybe just move your head a little bit. Make sure everything feels nice and relaxed in there. Good work. All right, and we'll come on up and shift out of that position. All right, great work, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed that stretch today and found it useful. Please, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Let me know what else you want me to focus on for you. And have a fantastic day, and I'll see you again soon. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you find out when the new stretches come out. All right, you guys, have an amazing day. See you next time.